Hey guys, and welcome to another live stream where we're about to experience Jigsaw by Statamic. We're apparently in a Static Site Generator series, and Jigsaw is another software product that allows you to build static websites. It's a new thing. It's been released like a couple of weeks ago, a month max, and it aims to help you building simple Laravel websites. So in a nice little post by Matt Stauffer, who is, by the way, a co-founder of Titan Company that actually built Jigsaw. Matt explained why was Jigsaw built in the first place. So it actually uses three cool pieces of technology to allow you to build simple websites. So that's Laravel Blade, Elixir, and Markdown syntax. So to tell the truth, when I advertised this event, I said that I'm going to compare Jigsaw with a really much more advanced static site generator solution, which is Jekyll. And long story short, Jekyll is years in development ahead of Titan's Jigsaw, but Jigsaw is still a very useful tool. So for instance, it allows you to quickly develop a theme and launch a simple website that you can easily port to a full-size Laravel project. So let's dive into main Jigsaw features. Let's start actually with Laravel Valet, which is a new thing in Laravel ecosystem. So what it does, it uses actually a caddy server so that in essence you set your project folder root path, and everything within that folder automatically gets served in a folder name .dev domain under your localhost environment. So I've set that up so that I can test Jigsaw with it, because it has a couple of drivers, amongst which is Jigsaw. So any of these frameworks or technologies or CMS systems is capable of running under Valet. So let's look at the Jigsaw installation. So first thing you want to do is install Jigsaw globally. It's easy to do so using Composer. So right after that is installed, you're able to initiate or initialize a new project or a new site under your dev folder. So let's see how that works. Let's just do Jigsaw. Sorry, I guess you guys aren't seeing this. Let's do it like this. Jigsaw init Jigsaw. All right. And it's initialized successfully, so let's seed into it. And let's run Sublime. And let's see what we got. So it's a pretty simple folder structure. All your files are contained in a source folder, and there are a couple of interesting config folders over here. So first of all, you have your gulp file, which allows you to use Elixir, which is super awesome tool that allows you to build basically your front end, meaning helps you with your CSS, LSS, JavaScripts, and stuff like that. So right now, let's just run npm install, I believe. Oh, sorry. Which should set up gulp and let us use it for our project here. In the meanwhile, let's look at the CMS podcast website in Sublime. So let's check out the folder structure as we have it in CMS podcast, which, as I mentioned, uses Jekyll. So a quick note about Jekyll. Jekyll runs on Ruby, and it uses Liquid templating language, which was developed by Shopify, and it's a really mature language when it comes to templating. So it has a bunch of features. So pretty much, if you're an advanced Liquid user, you might consider yourself advanced Jigsaw user as well. Sorry, advanced Jekyll user as well, as so many features revolve around templating in as you might imagine, in static site generation. So apart from that, let's just quickly see what Jekyll allows you to do. So it has like front matter configurations like most of static site generators. It allows you to write posts in MD files. It allows you to write drafts. What else is interesting? It has collections, so you can define like something like data collections, sort of like in a database stuff. So you might consider this as a archive of something. So I believe here we have like a music example where it lets you build collections of music albums and display it wherever on site. And it has a really developed system of variables, and it has pagination. It has what else is interesting? Categories and tags. So these are like complex pieces of functionality that you get out of the box by using Jekyll. So in the CMS podcast website, we have like categories, like we have our episodes under the episodes folder or category, or we have like our reviews under the reviews category and stuff like that. So if you look at this coming up section over here, it's done by using collections. So it's pretty easy, and you feel like a luxurious set of tools is really helping you build your website. And it's super easy, super exciting. It gets out of your way and lets you focus on your content instead of focusing on which WordPress plugin I'm about to install, and will it crash in a month or something like that. So it's really awesome and helpful. On the other hand, let's see if this gulp thing completed. Oh no. Sorry guys, I need to sudo. I thought I fixed this permission problem, but no. If you install your node and not so great way in your Mac, it troubles you. Oh, I'll fix that. I'll get there one day. Where was I? So yeah, Jekyll has a diverse set of tools that well, I'm gonna do a complete show just on Jekyll, so no more about Jekyll. This is a show about Jigsaw. So let's compare Jigsaw's features with Jekyll. So you have your templating that uses Laravel Blade templating system. So yeah, you don't have filters, for instance. So what are filters? Filters, I mentioned those in last show, and that was about Statamic. So Statamic has like lots of filters, and they allow you to transform the data that you're passing into a view or into a template in a simple and quick way. So I'm not really sure why Laravel Blade doesn't have that. Twig has it. Maybe it'll be available sometime in the future. Apart from having a really nice templating system, but don't get me wrong, Blade is even easier, and like templating in Blade in some ways it's much better than in other templating system, which I'm about to show you. Hopefully we have enough time today to compare how templating is done in Jigsaw versus in a Jekyll. So you have your layouts, partials. You can define stuff using Markdown, and you have your site variables available, but only if you list them in a config file over here. And I guess that's pretty much it. So you definitely cannot do what I've done here using Jekyll. You cannot do this in Jigsaw with the Jigsaw system. First of all, there's no way to list all posts that I have in a website or in a category. There are no categories. There are no tags. There are no collections, and yeah, basically that are like main factors that prevented me from migrating CMS podcast website from Jekyll to Jigsaw. But there are workarounds, and basically you don't want to do that because it's not an easy way to maintain a website. You could technically use your config file to store all the data in an array and pass it to views, but you don't want to maintain a website by using one giant array. So I'm not really sure what's behind the system, meaning how the Jekyll PHP system compiles stuff. I could possibly do some includes here in this config PHP to include like stuff from other PHP config files, but there are no there are no ways to override stuff that you write in your config file. So if you remember in Statamic, you have like layers of, well, sort of like namespaces or contexts where I can define something on a project level and set it like, I don't know, if I want to set a website title, I could do it like this, and then I can go into my config file for instance, episodes section and change this to episodes. And then when I write individual posts, I can do episode, number 1 and stuff like this. And it all overrides the previously defined variable. So we don't have this with Jigsaw, which could change tomorrow as far as we know, because I believe that the system will evolve and grow. So apparently this works. Let's check out the documentation for Jigsaw. So starting a new site, we've already done that. We've explored the directory structure, and then let's see how we do building and previewing. So by issuing a command Jigsaw build, you're actually building your website. So it said here that it built my website successfully. And if I go back and view what happened, it created a build local folder with, a simple index.html and main CSS, which are actually my index.blade.php file with, hello world text. And since I've installed Valet, I'm able to do jigsaw.dev, and I have my hello world served for me. However, there's an alternative way to serve content. So you can do this by Jigsaw serve, or, which is far more exciting, by doing gulp watch. So what gulp watch does is it uses browser sync and gulp watching magic that basically watches your folders that you define in a gulp file .js, and whenever you make any changes, it automatically recompiles your CSS, and it quickly allows you to monitor the changes. So let's see what we have here. Our main CSS. So let's do body color red, for instance, and see what happens. Yeah. So it automatically basically refreshed our website for us and saves us tons of time. So this is like a cool little magical trick there. And again, if you're not using Elixir for any of your projects, not only Jigsaw, not only Laravel, lots of folks I hear are using Elixir for their static HTML development. So explore it. It's a great tool. So let's go back to the docs. So, well, that's basically it regarding the previewing. It's pretty simple, not much to say about it. Our site variables are contained in a config.php, like I said. So if we want to echo any of variables listed here, it's, well, pretty easy to do it like this. Straight templating, like Blade templating stuff, which doesn't work for some reason. So yeah, it returned title. Let's see, cd into Jigsaw, and let's do Jigsaw build, and here it is. So basically, what happened here? Our little helping friend Gulp didn't recompile the website that we've just built. So it tried to serve stuff, but couldn't, because it serves from build local, and I'm not really sure why that happened. But what I've concluded is that for me it was far easier to use Gulp when I'm developing HTML and tweaking CSS and stuff. But when I'm developing like an application and when I have like undefined variables and things start to break because of some random errors like this one. So basically it quickly kills your entire process like I did right now. So it pretty like it becomes useful in a useless in a way, whilst Jigsaw can help with parser messages to let you know where the problem might occur and help you solve it. So if I fix it, it turns to green again, and then in my jigsaw.dev environment, which uses Laravel Valet, yeah, it's back to a working status. So you might want to explore what works best for you. So that was pretty simple. Environments are an easy way for you to define what happens in your local environment, where in production you're able to override any parameters that you defined in local environment in config.php. Don't mistake this for like our namespacing or context stuff that I mentioned earlier. This is only like your .env files you have in Laravel that are separate for your production or your local environment or your staging server. Blade templating actually refers you to Laravel Blade documentation for now. And there are some examples on how you define a layout, how you extend layouts, how you define partials, and how you prevent layouts and partials from rendering. So you just basically prefix your folder name with underscore. So that's the system that's, I believe, used widely in static site generation world. So all of these folders under CMS podcast website are not rendered, and the way I did it, I simply prefixed my folder name with underscore. So what else do we have here? Not much. So let's see what else we have in our sidebar menu. Markdown. That's like a third reason why you'd want to use Jigsaw, because it's so much easier to define stuff using Markdown. Instead, you have you obviously have option either to use Blade as your page space where you generate your pages, or I don't know how to put it in words, but let's see what happens if we want to use MD files instead of index.blade. So we have like, well, let's just quickly copy this, and if we want to create a new section under a new folder, so let's just call it test, and we'll call this file well, why don't we call it just test.md, and here it is. So we have our extends like definition over here that we can easily transform to a YAML format. So we're still extending layouts master, and we're using, I mean, we're gonna have our section body over here, and let's see what happens if we do this. We need to rebuild our Jekyll website. Apparently it's successful. Let's see what it did in our local. So it created like test/test index.html. So let's see if that works. Where's our root? So test/test hello world, and since we're not using blade syntax anymore, we cannot replace variables like we're used to using blade templating, but it's super easy way for you to quickly use MD and create like fast pages, like, I mean, create pages in a quick way. And I guess that's about it. Let's see what else. So compiling our assets, we've covered that. If you wanna see what happened here, so basically it took our SAS main CSS and compiled everything down to a main CSS. So what we've had here, it just gets copied over to and appended in a final build. So let's see if there's anything else interesting to mention using in the docs. So pretty URLs, we've already done that. Create a couple of folders, put MD file in, and it renders it like in a way that makes it accessible as a pretty URL or SEO friendly URL. So when you deploy your website, you can use GitHub pages, which are essentially run by Jekyll in the background, but since this is like plain HTML, it's super easy to host this anywhere you like. So this is like the main super important factor why you want to use static site generator as opposed to your dynamic website. I read yesterday a really good article about static site generators, so let's see if I can Google it out quickly. I think it's this guy, David Walsh, and he basically has a really nice article. I'm gonna tweet this a bit later. But one of the things that he mentioned in this article is that Jekyll was used in a presidential campaign of President Obama to raise $250,000. And these numbers here are really astonishing. So for 6 months, it had like 81 million page views, served 17 million, like nearly 18 million users. And it was 60% faster than the previous platform, which was already super fast. It allowed them to, create 240 A/B tests, which increased donations by 49%. They've had like over 1,000 deploys, which are done by using a versioning tool such as Git, and JavaScript 4,000 lines of, and 23% of mobile traffic. Like, I mean, if your goals are speed and security, then Static Site Generator is way to go. If you don't have any dynamic data to show to your users, go for it. So let's see what can we do in terms of turning our CMS podcast from, like our Jekyll system from our Jekyll to Jigsaw system. So let's start off by actually switching our CSS preprocessor from Sass to Less. So in Orange Hill development, we like Less more than Sass, though when new Twitter Bootstrap is published, I guess everyone will switch to Sass. So we'll switch to Sass apparently, I guess. So let's see what we have here. We have like CMS podcast. I love Forklift, by the way. Forklift rules. Ever since I switched from Windows to Mac, I sought a replacement for Windows or Total Commander, which was the single most valuable piece of Windows software ever written, if I'm asked. And Forklift was the only decent replacement. So if you like this 2-panel layout for copying and manipulating files, go for Forklift. Forklift rules. Let's see, Less folder is over here, and in our task Jigsaw source assets, we have our Sass. So if we do copy and delete Sass and perhaps go in and edit like gulp files. So we're actually mixing Glass instead of Sass, and it'll be called, well, main.Lass, I guess, or yeah, let's switch this to main. And I guess this should work. Let's see what happened. I'm not really sure if this worked. Let's check out. Let's first remove this and see if in our main Lass we can, we have like our gray dark defined as a color. I'm not really sure if this worked. No. So let's see what happens here. Nope. Give me a second, guys. Oh no, why don't you work? So let's see, what am I doing wrong? I just remove this and rebuild. And we don't have CSS anymore. All right, that's a bit weird. Well, I don't want to waste our time on live broadcast with this subject. It worked when I tested it like yesterday, but I'm doing something wrong here and it just won't work right now. So I'm just gonna copy a file from my demo project that I believe it works. So right now we're actually using the CMS podcast CSS, and I'm so bugged by this not working. All right, so let's see what else. We have in our CMS podcast project, we have our layouts defined over here. So we have like our default layout that uses a bit different structure as blades. So, but you know, it's pretty readable by any programmer. And if you want to extend your layout, you basically define it with your YAML syntax like this. And then when you write posts, let's see, for instance, our home page is in our index.html. So you basically use your layout page, which is this file, and you set some variables like this description, and then you have like the rest of your sections over here. So I'm not gonna waste too much time like going through like variable by variable since I've already done that yesterday. I'm just gonna copy what I've done in my demo over so that you can see how it relates to what we have in our Jigsaw system. So let's remove this and add our includes folder, and we already have CSS like episodes, images, JavaScript, and what's in our index.blade. Yeah, it's the same stuff. And I guess that's about it. And we have our like our episodes. And I guess that's it. Okay, cool. So once I've done this, and if I refresh the development website after I do Jigsaw build, I have a couple of errors. All right, view layouts master not defined. Hold on, I think that I still have to copy over my config file. And let's see what I've missed. Yeah, this index blade, I've changed it because this one uses extends layouts master, and one I have here extends layouts page. So basically, let's copy this over here and redo this. It's failing again. So let's see, why is that? There's some other layout that uses master. But it's not over here. Yeah, this test that we created earlier that uses master. Right, so let's give it another shot. And it's a successful build. Width 404, since we deleted test, we don't want to reload that anymore. And we're sort of to arrive to a familiar look and feel. And this is like CMS podcast that's built using Jekyll. And this is a version that's built using Jigsaw. So let's see the most crucial difference and what we've done in Jekyll and what we've done in Jigsaw to make it work. So first of all, let's focus on this section here coming up on CMS Podcast. So we're in our Jigsaw project right now, and if we look at a default blade, this is like a blade that gets the foundation for the website, which is extended by other layouts and pages. And basically it includes some stuff. It yields a body section and header content, stuff like that. And all the includes are basically over here. So those that actually are used by a system right now, such as footer, I've transformed variable names from liquid to Laravel blade syntax. So let's compare, for instance, this part. So we have our includes here and our footer. What are we looking at? Footer.html. Yeah, that's the one, and footer blade. So we want to display this section, which basically renders the Twitter icon here only if a variable is set, like Twitter username. So in our Jekyll system, we're using config.php to set those variables. So we have like our Twitter username over here, and if I comment it out and rebuild and refresh, it's gone. And the same functionality in Jekyll is achieved by issuing such line of command, like if site.twitter underscore username render this and echo my variable over here. So that's it. What's interesting though is if we look at our head.html, so let's focus on that for a second. So where's our blade? It's over here. Do I have this example here? No, it could be in some other place. So let's look at events. No. Yeah, this is like so much more elegant in Blade versus Liquid. So let's check out the post.blade template in Liquid. Post. So let's see. I'm echoing h1 here. So if I have my page h1 variable set, then I want to echo that instead. I want to echo h1, which is defined in config.php. So the same functionality is basically here, where no, this is, yeah, is it the same thing? I'm not sure. Yeah, perhaps I've switched variable names, but it basically says, you know, you have to do the whole thing if else, you know, if page author, then echo page author, else site title. But if I wanted to do this in Laravel, I would just do like, you know, page author or site title, and that's it, you know. It's so much nicer. And well, the rest of the syntax is, you know, pretty much what you've used to with Laravel Blade. And if you've done any Blade templating, you know what I'm talking about. So basically include sections and stuff like that. And when you want to render your page, it boils down to using a single blade, which is index.blade.php, which extends the page layout, and it only has this section content, which gets rendered when I rebuild. You know, it changes, and that's it. So this section over here is done by using collections in Jekyll, but since I don't have collections available in Jigsaw, I had to do it like this. So I've basically extended our config array with like events array, like you know, multi-dimensional array. And when I did that, then I used that data, you know, in my, yeah, this syntax is also so much nicer in Blade than in what's its name, Liquid, yeah. And basically I've used that data to render my sidebar. So it works, but it's not really what you want to do in the long term. Like when you're maintaining a website, it's much easier to have like your collections defined in events. So I have my collections for CMS podcast defined as two simple MD files where I, you know, specify my variables like this, and my content over here under the front matter. And in Jekyll, in oh my god, they both start with J and it's so confusing. In Jigsaw, I have my events listed here and I had to write my content like this, and it's not really a perfect solution. Yeah, but it works. And well, there's also a limitation where I couldn't render all my posts here since I don't have any system that tracks what number of posts have I written with Jigsaw. So basically, if I wanted to list the posts here, I would have to manually list them in my config file, or I don't know if there's a mechanism available already. Let's see. You know, I'm not sure there is a way, but a quick helper that perhaps reads the file from a specific directory could return an array that I could use to loop through those files and extract data and put it here. So in theory, it shouldn't be too hard to do, but it's not provided for you out of the box. So let's see how I created the inside like page, like the episodes page. So basically, I've managed pretty much to keep the MD file intact in comparison to my Jekyll version. So let's see, my episode 0 is under posts over here. So if I compare the two, all I've added is this variable extends. So I'm extending layouts post, and you know, instead of doing it like this in my blade file, if I want to use Markdown, then you just do it like this. And another thing you have to do is like tell it what section are you actually, or even you don't have to, I'm not sure. Let's see what happens. Do I have, what's happening if I go to episodes/0? Yeah, it works. And perhaps if I've done section content, it wouldn't matter anyway. Jigsaw build. Yeah, I've tried this and it turned funky on me. So I just removed it. Not really sure what happened there. Right now I'm having some notices of undefined variables and stuff. But all in all, it works. And the only thing that wasn't clear to me is when you have your content written under the front-end matter like this, and when I do Jigsaw build, refresh, it's gone. Because I'm not sure to what variable does it map when you use Jigsaw. It's sort of not that clear in documentation. Let's see. Where is it? Markdown, and supposedly if you write it like this, it should be available in a variable that's called what? Content or post content. What happens? Not really sure, but I basically defined it under content variable like this, and it sort of worked. There would be some tweaking because I've probably missed some stuff while. Oh, come on, dude. what's going on. Okay, here it is. The HTML structure fell apart. I missed something somewhere, but basically it's doable. Jigsaw is a system that you could use to build simple websites. Don't expect too much from it, but like simple static websites that are super fast, that it can do. Well, I think that I forgot to mention that the other part of the Titan equation is Adam Wathan, and this is like a really interesting guy. I just want to pay tribute to him for everything he's doing. And let's see. So this is his Twitter account. No, sorry, this is his GitHub account. I want to show you his Twitter account. Yeah. So it says here, powerlifter and Slayer fan. How cool is that? And if you go to adamwathan.me and you go to about and check out his video where he basically is in a powerlifting competition. Look at this. Look at what this guy is doing. Yeah, I guess I'd be crushed. All right. $165 kilos, that's insane. Well, my point here is that apparently what I've noticed is that successful guys that are successful in business and otherwise are most of the time successful in other parts of their lives. So I guess it's down to persistence and willingness, and it has like to do with them being intelligent and being at the right place and at the right time and stuff like that. So enough of the motivation BS. Let's conclude this live transmission by saying that Jigsaw is a system that's actually a promising one, and I hope that Titan will continue to evolve it, because in a world of Laravel, PHP actually in a world of Laravel, there's no free alternative to Statamic, which is a completely another beast and really useful in another area. Whilst Jigsaw is useful for some other stuff, and that's basically it. I want to remind you that each Friday in 2 p.m. GMT, I'm going to be here talking about interesting software that's basically related to web content management. And I'm not really sure what's going to be on my menu for next Friday. It could be that I'm going to talk about October CMS. So stay tuned, follow my Twitter account, go to cmspodcast.com and subscribe to my iTunes podcast feed, which is rather empty. So it's like this weird situation where I'm recording like a fourth video cast without recording a one show, but I felt like I needed some sort of foundation before I start talking to people, and this is it. So join me next Friday, same place, same time. Take care. See ya.